So for our yin class today, it's recommended that you don't typically use a ton of props. That's more of a restorative practice. But I always like to have them handy just in case I'm feeling a little bit too tight. And I kind of feel like that today. So I'm going to have these blocks available, blankets and bolster. So just decide what you need. And we're going to start in a seated pose. And in yin, it's called butterfly. You might know it in vinyasa as Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. So we do want you can tell how tight someone's back is and hips by how high the knees are. This is not typically where I'm at in my practice, but today I'm just going to be humble about the fact that my shit hurts right now. Like it just hurts. So I'm going to grab these blankets and give myself a really nice, some really nice height here. You do not have to do that. I'm just going to be a little bit more mindful in this practice. So sits bones are heavy, pubic bone presses down, soles of feet are together, and then you really want the balls of the feet touching so that the toes, which you can't see, are like you're flointing, or sorry, it would be this, soles of feet together and then peeling back the toes. So the toes are nice and active. Then from here, hinge at the hips, bow forward. You can grab on to the feet and then just let the head hang. You can also have your hands out here in front. Relax your face and your jaw. Breathe into the groins, hips, and low back. Notice if you're holding tension in the face, the jaw. Let the eyes close. If you are super flexible in the hips, you can take your feet onto a blanket or a block and then take your fold. You can also just try that even if the hips are up on the blanket. It kind of hits a different spot in the outer hips. So depending on what you're looking for, you might try that. Inhale deeply. Exhale, release. And come back up. Whatever version you took, remove a block or blanket if they're under your feet. Take your feet hips width distance apart and then take the knees side to side. Good. Sweep your feet around. And we're going to come to tabletop position. I'm going to go ahead and bring the blanket here for a deeper stretch. We're going to move into heart melting pose, melting heart pose, puppy pose. So you keep your hips stacked over the knees, and then you really try and arch the back, lifting the tailbone. Options: reaching arms forward. They totally don't have to be on a blanket. Resting the elbows down and then melting the heart through. Forehead down or chin. Your arms do not have to be on a blanket. And that would look like this. You can keep the elbows lifted, you can keep the elbows down, or you might even cross the forearms. Once you've found the pose, stay and breathe. Keep a lift up through the tailbone. Stretch your arms nice and long, turning the armpits down. And relax your jaw. When your mind leaves the room, bring it back to the breath. Breathe through sensation. Inhale. Exhale. Slide the left hand back, followed by the right, so that the hands are underneath the shoulders. Okay, so now take the knees, slide them up, and come to a seat. We're going to come into a seated straddle or dragonfly pose, which is called Yin. I'm going to sit up on the blanket, take your legs nice and wide. Definitely do not go to 100% on the legs being open. Come back maybe to like 60 or 70 so you have a place to go. Spine sits up nice and tall. Back draws in. You could take your right hand to the outside of the thigh, grab the hammies and like take them back. gonna grab my bolster just to give my back a little break. So you can do this. And let the head hang. You can let the shoulders fall. Close the eyes. And let the jaw soften. And let your legs be rooted down and heavy into the mat. Upper body is soft. Breathe through sensation. Big breath in. Exhale. And come back up. Go ahead, bend the knees. Bring the feet back in, soles. Feet can be hips width distance apart, and then knees side to side. We're going to set up now for pigeon. I am going to take this bolster and put it long ways on the right side of my mat. It's going to allow my hip to kind of rest there, not dumping into the hip, but I'll show you what I mean. So hands can come down. You could start in down dog. Then take your right knee toward the right wrist. This is where you're going to adjust the bolster or blankets if you have it. The toe or the foot is pointed and the back toes are tucked. I'm going to open the right knee even more to the right, and my buttocks is on the bolster. Then you decide how much you want to come down. Come down to forearms or rest your head down on a block or your blankets. Lift the right hip a little bit. Keep the foot pointed on that right side. Walking your left knee back, toes are tucked. Let your chest be heavy. Bowie, Bowie, no. Inhale. Exhale. Slide the hands back underneath the shoulders. Now lift your back knee, and then you're going to step back to dog for transition. Notice the difference between the sides. Slide the bolster over, or the blankets if you're using it, to the left, and then you'll take your left knee to the left wrist. So now I've got the bolster set up under the buttocks, not to rest into it, but just more as like a little loving support. Right knee slides back. And then we keep the hips lifted a little bit. Relax the head. And let yourself just be really heavy down into the mat, but keeping a little lift in the hips. If your mind wanders, just bring your attention back to your breath. A few more rounds, slow, steady breath. Inhale. Exhale. And slide the hands underneath the shoulders. This time you'll just sit off to the left side and swing the legs forward. I'm going to get the bolster back and come down to your seat. Come all the way down to your back. Draw the knees in to the chest. And take your feet down onto the mat. And then take the knees off to the left. So I'm keeping my feet hips width distance. I'm just taking them off to the left. And then take the knees back through center and off to the right side. Now take the knees back through center. So you'll either come back to this twist with the gaze going to the right, or you'll take your left leg long on the mat and bring your right knee in to the chest. Then take the right knee, cross it all the way over your body to the left. So the right hip is off the mat. From here, you can bend the left knee and grab for the foot with the right hand. And then kind of shimmy the shoulder blades back together. And take your gaze to the right. And the right knee might lift, it's all good. And if it's too intense with the foot, you just release the left foot, bring the right knee over, and unwind. Gaze to the right. Because my back is so tight, you'll see it just wants to be here. And I'm going to allow that to happen and just let everything open up naturally. Inhale. Exhale. Release the foot if you have it and make your way back to your back. Both knees come into the chest, and then they'll come off to the right for your easy twist, or take the feet down, right leg long, left knee draws in. Good. And then take it over the body to the right. You might bend the left knee and reach for the foot. And then gaze might go to the left. Upper back heavy and rooted. Gaze can be to the left or straight up. Inhale. Exhale. Straighten your right leg, come back to the back. Low back is down, knees draw in. Knees toward the armpits, hands on the shins. Stay here or take happy baby. I'm not going to do that. So you can just have the knees draw in. You can rock your baby a little side to side. Good. Then draw the knees into the chest. Your options to end the practice are legs up the wall or make your way to Shavasana. I'm going to cover up with a blanket, and you can always have some of your props set up here. Take the knees on the bolster. And then bring the blanket on you, whatever you have. You could always have an eye pillow. And just let the legs and the feet fall open, take up lots of space on your mat. You could take your arms out to the side or up above the head. You could do the same if your legs are straight up. Relax your face. And settle in. Looking to drop in quickly to stillness. Take a scan from the toes all the way up through the crown and just notice, where can you send your breath? Or can you heal discomfort? And come back to the moment. Feel free to stay as long as you need. Otherwise, start to deepen your breath. A little movement in fingers and toes. And then fold your palms together so they're right in front of your face, thumbs to third eye center. Thank you so much for practicing today. Namaste.